All right, welcome in this Bobby Carpenter show here on this wonderful Thursday. Excited to be with everybody. AJ was phenomenal yesterday, and we kind of teased him a little bit, Schlegs, teased with him about some camp fighting. And this is the time of the year where it gets real frothy and gets saucy. And you got some guys that run hot at practice, and when you get this point where you get some guys that are fighting, and usually in the NFL, you can start getting those fights with the inter squad practices where you got two teams and nobody wants to relent. But when you're with your own dudes, try to take care of them a little bit. But sometimes guys get a little, they call it down south, Schlegs, they call it land yap in Louisiana, a little extra. So you got some guys, that are going to give you a little extra. We can probably figure out who some of those guys are that give you a little extra juice.
Articulate, though, before you go there, Bob, articulate how you have competitive excellence and yapping, but also take care of each other because it's a longer season. The NFL does it really well. How would that look, Bob? What does that look like?
So,
because not doing that can lead to these, right?
So you have to have an understanding where, hey, we're going to go really hard. We're going to go to the whistle. We're not going to do anything to jeopardize our teammates. Like, we're not going to spin guys where they can roll an ankle, pull on them, or you can tweak a back or a hamstring. Like, we're going to practice like pros. And you want to practice with intensity, and you want to talk a little trash. You get some guys that yap a lot. They got the yappers.
Sir yaps a lot.
And usually the yappers, Schlegs, as I was talking to our dude, Nate Ebner, he's like, and Nate never talks at all. And he's like, the guys that I always found through my career who were the yappers were the guys who really didn't want to fight all that much. Or they kind of did, but they were never the dudes. It was more like the little like Yorkies, like they're going to go at you. Like, you're not going to see like the Boses. They didn't really talk a whole lot. Sonny Styles doesn't say very much during practice because if you get to the point where he's going to go, dude, like my third brother's the same way. He didn't talk a whole lot. I never really talked a ton of trash, but like if you push to the point, like I'm going to throat you. Like I'm going to give you a lot of grace.
And that's Georgie, by the way, that you're talking about. And he is straight albino silverback. Like George is impressive.
Very strong. Like, dude, that's like Sonny Styles. Like these guys you get to this point now where you're fighting with your teammates, fighting with your brothers, and the whistle comes, nobody wants to relent, and you just kind of push them over the edge a little bit. And with that, then you get the fights, the eruptions, guys come running in, and it's a disruption of practice. And so it's like trying to balance that where you want to be highly competitive. You want to win every drill, but you don't want to detract from what's going on. And that's the worry is you get to that point. And that's where Ryan, as the head coach, has to kind of find that line where, hey, I love the competition. I love guys come out and competing hard every day, man. I don't want to have to like turn you up. But at some point,
turn me up once.
We are at risk of maybe injuring a teammate. We're not getting as much work in because we're too busy doing all the other nonsense. And then I'm beginning to question your restraint of, is this going to be an issue with you on the field in games?
It's funny. We had a scrimmage, and I was seeing some late hits jumping on the pile. Again, scrimmage. Another team came in, and it was more of a practice scrimmage, Bob. And I saw it, and a lot of people are waiting for the other coaches to do it, and I just jump in. Like I feel like I have a little bit of a, not necessarily authority, but a little bit of a presence. And the conversation was this: hey, this is an iron sharpens iron moment. We are going live. But guess what? What you just did, that's a penalty in a game. It's called controlled chaos. You have to be able to play as hard as you possibly can within the whistles. And if that whistle means +2, but it also doesn't mean +2 with a cheap shot that gets somebody, a penalty that extends a drive or pushes back a drive. Like, that's the point. Controlled chaos, being able to play within the game. And then at practice, it's became, and I thought last year, Ohio State football did a great job, veteran-led, older guys, of understanding how to play fast and violent within the whistle, but also within the tempo of the period. Give you guys an example. Thud period, thud, does not mean 95%. It does not mean 75%. It means 100%. Thud contact on the running back or wide receiver means that I show that I can have made that tackle, right? If I'm at an angle, if I can make that tackle and a guy bounces and I'm pursuing, I am not going through the hip, rolling him up. I am going to tag off, signifying that I made the play, right? But when it's within the framework, I wrap up, thud, run my feet, then I let the guy go, because also the running back has a thing where they want to keep going through contact, and you know that. So I thud him up, run my feet, I let go, I disengage. That's how you can still have competitive excellence, do your job, and also keep your teammates safe. The injuries happen when you do that, and I throw a guy and then he decelerates, overextends, pulls a hamstring, rolls an ankle, guys coming in late from the side, not being able to control their body, not because they were having bad effort, but it was because they did wrong on the first step, or they didn't disengage fast enough, or they didn't recognize the play fast enough. And therefore, to show that they were close to making the play, or that they could have made the play, they do something that could jeopardize a teammate and the teammate's health. And again, the number one thing, guys, it is about having all of your alphas on the field on game day, whether that's a Wednesday night, 7th grade, Thursday night, 8th grade, Friday night, high school, Saturday, college, Sunday, pros. The teams that have their alphas healthy and prepared have a higher likelihood of winning that game. And that's what it's about.
And so like you said, it's the thud is 100% Schlegs through contact. Do not take your teammate to the ground. Be smart about it.
They say stay up constantly. Up. Well, it's almost as bad as it's not as bad as get back, because you don't have to say it as much, but it's in the same vicinity.
You love being the get back coach though, Schlegs. That was your favorite.
That was not my favorite. Keep going. I
want to hear more about you loving the get back job. But anyway,
well, I'm going to tell you guys this too. It also goes into how engaged are you in practice and getting better one rep at a time. You know, you mentioned the other day, Richard Sherman, going and trying something at practice.
I think it was like actually AJ, but I appreciate you.
Or AJ, yeah, you're right. Yeah. AJ was talking about that, doing something in practice. Like, did you make a mistake, and then you go back to the next play and work on your craft to get better? Like, what is that mindset, as opposed to, you know, I'm just being chippy? And that kind of goes into everybody's why. I like some of the chippiness, Bob. I like guys that have something to prove. But you have to play within the confines that allows your team to be successful. You can't put your whatever that is for you above the team, especially when safety's involved. Like, it's almost somebody in the chat yesterday is like, you know, what'd you like, Schlegs? Like how did you get psyched up for games, or whatever the comment was? And I honestly said this: the opportunity to dent face masks and take manhood, people's manhood was all that I needed. I didn't need anything else. I love the physicality of practice. I love the individual drills of practice because it made me better at linebacker. I like the situational periods that we had in practice because it heightened my football acumen. Yeah. I loved everything about it. And game days was just a byproduct of the preparation with my boys against somebody else. Like, that's all the motivation that I needed. It wasn't poll rankings. It wasn't environments. It was just that. And to be able to do it in some of the environments that we were in, yes, that resonate. I think about them 20 years later with fondness of the Texas game that we lost, of the Penn State game that we lost. But both of them equally were memorable because of how we entered Penn State, Bob, through the chain link fence, and people like spitting on us and like shaking the fence and all of those things. It was like gladiators coming out. Like, that's what I remember. And it was just us doing what we had to do to get the ball back for the offense because we got beat 17. Like, those are the things that you remember, guys. They don't necessarily motivate you in the moment. What motivates you is that you're out there with your 11 dudes on defense, your 11 dudes on offense, your 11 dudes on special teams, all together to go get a W. Like, that's what it's about.
Yeah, it is. And so when you go back to all of that, Schlegs, the emotional component of it, well, listen, Joel Klatt talked about this, the lack of emotional development. We'll get to that here in a minute. That thud tempo, and people lament now that, like, there's no tackling to the ground. And here's the reality. Like, in the NFL, we hardly ever tackled to the ground. At Ohio State, when we were there, we didn't do very many periods of, like, full-on live tackling. No. You can get to the point where, hey, I got a shoulder, I got a wrap, and I can get the guy down. Like, I don't need to dive, lay out, and risk hitting the dude's legs, spinning him around, rolling an ankle, tweaking a back, hurting myself, rolling into somebody else. And that's what people are like, oh, it's soft. They don't do that. I go, nobody does that really anymore. Nobody's really done it.
And it's not soft. Tell Bob, risk reward. Hell, I blew out. I tore my MCL 6 week of practice because somebody blocked a dude into me when I was going to the sideline to tag off on somebody like you were supposed to. I appreciate the fact that the guy's going through the whistle. That block didn't need to be made. It was honestly probably a block in the back, but consequently, that dude got launched onto my right knee that tore my MCL. And impact. And now, granted, I hobbled off the field, cussed out everybody, practiced the next day, but put on a Don Joy and played 6 more games. But it definitely impacted my ability. So again, we say all this. That is not being soft. It is actually playing with control because there's so many other things that go into when you should have made the right play, whether it's recognition, whether it's first step, whether it's stance, whether it's pre-snap read. All those things could have been better to put yourself in a better situation than now you compromise the teammate because you want to show and make up for the lack thereof the previous things that I mentioned.
Well, and some of it too is you try to make up at the end of the play missteps from earlier in the play and throw a guy down and do stuff like that. And that's the crap that you don't need to see. It's the stuff that's out there that it just doesn't need to happen. And so being smart, the most important ability is availability.
Yes.
And Ryan talked like coming through training camp, you want to have all your guys.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose anybody, not for the season, not for half the year, heck, not for 2 weeks. When you open with Texas, you need your whole crew together. And so that's why it's critical. I think Ryan's done a great job of balancing, because they've done some live tackle, balancing a little bit of live tackle, a lot of days in pads. They've done some days where they've been in shells that have been non-contact early on, but they've really this big push. Like you're trying to find out what you got. You've got to figure out, can you run the ball? Can you stop the run? Can some of your defensive backs tackle in the open field against the tight end, against the running back? So you've got to see some of that, but you've got to be smart in how you administer it. And I think that they've done and do it in isolated pockets, and you can do some of it in drill work too. And I think that they've done a really good job of it. Ryan, I think, manages these team legs as well as anybody.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do. Go ahead.
A lot of that comes from his NFL experience, Chip's experience, lean not on your own understanding, right? There is always a better way, chasing those angles. Mick, in the volume, the preparation of the tissue going into camp, talking about where every guy is during camp, the amount of high speed distance, I'm talking 90% to max capacity. Where does that look from practice to practice? How do you undulate those practices? Exactly what you mentioned, Bob. And what does that mean by undulating practice? Is this a third down emphasis, long deep ball? Is this a first down emphasis where it's kind of like a medium type day? Is it a more condensed version, which is a red zone goal line type day? I have to have undulations. You can't stack high day, because then it's going to be high day, blowout day. Like that's just what happens. And so to your point,
high day, boom.
Yes, and it's not just a singular boom; it's a multiple boom. So all of those things are prescribed with intent, well thought out, and executed very, very well. It's also now on the ownership of the players to make sure that they do their job and not adding on to putting people at risk as well.
I like that, Schlegs. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hit Joel Klatt because this is the emotional element of being able to control your emotions. And listen, Bipolar Bob maybe wasn't always the best at it. I'll talk to you a little bit about me, and then we'll get into Joel Klatt and some of this element, these guys being able to do a better job with it and why it's important. But I want to let you know about this. Tuesday, August 26th. It's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans, Schlegs. It's 24 hours of deals on all your favorite football predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race. Who do you got, Schlegs? Who do you think's going to win the MVP?
Joe Burrows.
There you go. 2 of them, not just one. Get 2 of
Plural.
them.
He's getting 2.
There. Maybe who's going to crown your champion in August? Who's going to win it all? I don't know. Find it out. Chicago Bears, probably not. Cleveland Browns, probably not. Maybe some decent value there. Maybe it's the Ravens. Who knows? Take a little peek at it. Houston Texans, throw them in there. Mark your calendars. This is the day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and all of your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is one day, and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 and older in present Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Refine your golf swing effortlessly right from the comfort of your home with Pure AV. There's no tee time required. Pure AV's full swing golf simulators capture your every move with precision, while realistic graphics and immersive environments bring the thrill of the greens indoors. Perfect for practice, play with friends, or hosting upscale events. Discover the flawless blend of sport and luxury. Book your consultation today at pureavcorp.com.
All right, Schlegs, we talked a lot about, the fighting, how to take care of each other in practice, where they're kind of at right now at Ohio State. Ryan, I think, is hoping to get a depth chart out probably tomorrow by Saturday. They're going to be starting to break camp here, I believe, Saturday or Sunday. Let those guys out of there. Good news is they don't have practice, or they don't start class Schlegs till Texas week, so there's no 20-hour rule. So poof, David Copperfield, they can get that going. Pop that back in here, Schlegs, because we're going to tell them about our friends over at Export First. Attention, parents and athletes. Protect what matters most with Export mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including patented use of carbon fiber, custom 3D printed to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication. Focus on your game, not on your gear. Do not take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com today and save 15% on your order.
Hey, Bob, I'm getting yours tomorrow.
Oh, perfect. And give them to my kids.
Yep.
Get them rolling, protect their grills. I was bipolar, Bob. I was all up and down. Yo-yo. Nobody liked that. Bill Parcells hated the yo-yos. I had to really work on that as I got older. Practice with good intensity, but I let too many external things impact my emotions and impact how I was going to practice. What I love to see is like Caleb Downs Schlegs is like steady Eddie. I mean, he's like the most mature dude I've ever been around for his age, with what he is able to do and can bring to the table on his ability to say, like, hey, this is important. This isn't. Being a leader out there. He does such a great job with it. And I'm very impressed with him to be able to do this. But we had Joel Klatt Schlegs. He was talking about the emotional intelligence of players and how paramount that is, how critical it is, and how it's really guys with Tom Brady, they're underdeveloped right now in that way, whether it's quarterbacks or anybody else. Let's hear what they got to say.
All these young quarterbacks coming to the National Football League.
Yeah.
What do they not have? And what do you think college coaches should be focusing on in development for college quarterbacks?
I don't think there is much development at this point. There's a lack of development. There's a lack of development at the pro level. In some ways, there's a lack of development. In some ways, they're overdeveloped because they actually are starting at a young age. Maybe there's a physical development that I see that's probably a bit better based on all the instructional videos that are out there on YouTube or Instagram. There are more videos on how to throw a football now than I ever could have imagined.
Private coaches and
exactly.
So on.
There's all those. So physically they're developed, but the mental, learning how to study the game, learning the tactics, learning how to watch film, learning how to deal with the emotions of a competitive program, going up against a school rival, failing in front of 70,000 people. I think we're lacking the mental, emotional development. Physically, they may look developed. Mentally, emotionally, they're very underdeveloped. Sometimes their emotional growth is stunted by the fact that everybody is telling them how great they are all the time, or that it's not their fault all the time.
It's not their fault all the time, Schlegs. It's not your fault. And those guys, they get stunted because they've never been put in those hard situations. And Ryan, they put them through the crucible. But how you handle some of that stuff in practice, like they're simply setting you up. Like, yeah, there's a reason why you're going to go 6 straight days in pads. It's going to be hot. We know that. But that's AJ talked about yesterday, the callousing of not just your body, but really your mind being able to come out of there and have a firm grip and understanding of what's going on. And you've got to prepare not just for that next week, but you're preparing for the entirety of the season, the ups, the downs, the emotional roller coaster that's going to be.
Yeah, I remember yesterday I discussed like things that go into an athlete emotionally. And again, I heard this and it made complete sense. Right? It's the upbringing. That's one component. It's the skill of the athlete, how they've been trained. It's the environment that they're in. I think that place was called Life Sport there at OSU. They came over. I thought it was a good presentation. And as a coach, it was like, what are the things that you can control? Can't control the environment. Can't necessarily control what happens at home, but I can definitely control the skill set and how I talk to them about this and walk them through the emotional development of, I can't do this. Well, like, no, yeah, you can't do it yet. Let me coach you. Let's get it done. And here's why we're doing what we're doing and giving them that bigger picture. And CJ Stroud was in that thing, right? I think CJ Stroud is very emotionally and mentally developed. And a lot of that came from his time at Ohio State with Ryan Day. And I think that you can see guys that have immediate impact and success. Aaron Rodgers, AJ talked about it, 4 years in, he's carving up people on practice squad, got to learn behind an NFL Hall of Famer, gets to go out there and represent in 2008 and balls out. A lot of his physically got better, emotionally got better, mentally got better. And the mental side of this is, and he's talking in mental and emotional of being able to handle all of the things that are associated with football. He talked about reading defenses, reading the mail, as you talked about, Bob. All those things are taught differently at the high school level, which is why it's so imperative that they get in as fast as they can to actually see what real coaching and real film study is. And my thing is this too, and this is what I don't like about the pros, and you even mentioned the pros. When you get to the pros, some coaches' staffs will say, oh, they're a pro, they should know how to do this. But what if they don't? And it goes back to Ryan's why. Like, he's there to serve and help those athletes achieve all their goals. So if they don't, then yeah, it requires more time-intensive measures on your part to make sure that they do. So when they do get it, they can take it upon themselves to go do it. And you're not there every single day holding their hand, but now they can own that aspect of their craft, right? But again, it had to be developed. Nobody comes in ready-made. Took a lot of work from Tom Brady, coaches, environments, situations to make who he was. And that's just, you have to be intentional with the things and the events that you put in front of athletes to extract and develop those aspects of their playing ability.
It's pretty important, Schlegs. And I don't think it's something that can be undersold. And that's what that team had last year. They had that mental callousing to be able to go through and ride those ups and downs. Doesn't always feel good.
Why? Why, Bob?
Well, because you can't train toughness in November. They trained it all throughout the offseason, and you're prepared. And then when you lose a game like Oregon, you lose your starting left tackle, you don't panic. You lose your Remington Award-winning center. You lose your backup left tackle. You ultimately lose a huge game to Michigan, and everybody's sitting there looking at like the world is imploding on you. You figured out how to solve those problems in the offseason and during training camp. That's when those problems were ultimately solved. They weren't solved, Schlegs, at the point in time. You already had the answers. And sometimes it just took a little tough love to figure it out and to grind through it, but that's all there for you. And so they've already worked through that. Go ahead.
No, and I think they work through it because they've had a lot of events, a lot of trials and tribulations, because they were veteran. They were older. And that's the hardest thing that Ryan, Mick, and all the coaching staffs, support staff, is how do I create those environments for a younger team to be engaging, right, to learn this process without having gone through it. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, guys, it's the art of parenting. Do we ever want I would love for my kids to have a lot of my upbringing because I thought it was fantastic and very difficult. But they don't, because we're not in that same situation. So how do I put them in those situations to learn the things that I learned? And when you have a younger team and you have guys that are mature like Caleb that can see through a different prism, right? Great background, high football acumen, understands the why, loves the communication and dialogue between coaches and everything they're doing. How do I extrapolate what makes him special and those things to get him to all the other pieces on the team, right? And you got to think about it You're doing that from January all the way through camp, and then it's go time. And now here's the real test. And that's where they are. And it's something that's never going to stop throughout the season.
All right, Shikes, we're going to take a quick break. Ryan wants to have some things figured out by the end of this week.
Ooh.
We'll talk about that here next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Who doesn't love having everything at their fingertips? With Pure AV's smart home automation, you can seamlessly manage your home's audio, video, lighting, security, and more, all with a simple touch. Create a sanctuary that embodies your unique style and personalized features that bring comfort to every moment. Sit back, relax, and let Pure AV bring convenience and control to your home. Visit us at pureavcorp.com today.
And welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show here on this Thursday, getting ready to wrap up camp, taking a look, Slags, at Ryan Day and what they're trying to achieve, what they want to get done. And he said that he was hoping, as we can pull this up here, he wants to have a depth chart, he thinks, by the end of the weekend. And if you can scroll, I think, across or down, he wants to be able to name a starting quarterback by the end of this week. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to do that. That's going to be interesting. Those guys have to, the competition has to play out. Eventually, he's going to have to make a choice. I think he wants to get this done. He wants to get a depth chart. I'm curious to see this. I'm curious to see the offensive tackle stuff. I'm curious to see how some of the receiver stuff shakes out, not just quarterback, but wanting to put together a depth chart. I think that that's normal and that's appropriate because that's kind of the end of camp. You have 2 weeks left for your game, but I'm hoping that that's been enough time.
Yeah.
The play has reflected the opportunity then to separate, that somebody has separated from this.
And you want that for all aspects. I mean, honestly, the easiest thing that we all want as players, business professionals, doesn't matter, right? Pop Warner coaches, you want to have it all played out before, because then the conversations are very easy. It's like, this guy's good. I'll show you the film. You know, this is why this person got promoted. Here's the evidence. That's an easy convo. It's when it's really tight, somewhat subjective, the conversations become harder, especially if you lack self-introspection as to where you are in the mix. But from all of our witnessing practices, there hasn't been a lot of it from eyes of people that know. So it's going to come down to a feel on what Ryan feels is the most important, who's going out there and starting. And yes, it's the quarterback. And I think you brought up a great comment a couple days ago when we were talking to Richard, aka Bill Bender, about it. Like, nationally, not that big of a take. Internally, Buckeye Nation, huge take. But there's other things, right? There's who's the right tackle spot, who's the starting five on offensive line, what is the wide receiver room look like in depth of that room? What are we figuring out from a tight end position? What is that going to look like from a personnel standpoint during the game? What is our defensive line situation going to be like? I think linebacker pretty solidified. What is our secondary going to look like? What are they going to do? And, we already kind of know what big nickel looks like, but what does just regular base look like? Who's the other safety, right? What are the corners? How are you mixing in some guys that are having really good camp?
By
What's
the way,
the depth of the running room?
Your boy Peyton Pierce has been balling, dude.
I know.
He looked good. He looked really good. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, Peyton's looked really good, and it's just what he's good at. He's really good at, and there's going to be maybe a deficiency athletically versus Sonny and Arvell to him, just because those guys are
6'4".
They're 6'4". They can run. I mean, Peyton's 6'1.5", but he's always on the ball. He knows what to do. He doesn't make mistakes. Really sure tackler, and one of the best box linebackers I think you're going to find. So Peyton's done a good job. He's going to be a big contributor. And when you have guys that are getting nicked up during camp, which you have, like he steps up and he's been getting a lot of reps and looking good. One of the other guys, Schleggs, that has looked really good That's why I'm curious about this receiver room. Is everybody, it's JJ, it's Ennis, it's Tate, especially, Tate and JJ playing last year, Ennis sliding into the slot. But Mylan Graham has looked really good.
Yeah.
Mylan Graham's done has done some really nice stuff. And he was a guy that didn't come in early last year, got a little bit behind the 8 ball, looked good in bowl practice and looked good in spring and just really carried that over. I think you might see him be that next receiver based upon what he's been able to put out there.
Yeah. And that's it, guys. And you're talking about playing time. People are talking about draft stock, right? People are there's so many things that go on, and you got to just take the opportunities that are presented. One thing I'll just say, because you brought it up with Peyton, and I want everybody to understand, this is what we talk about, being able to get better one practice at a time, not making the same mistake within the same practice, learning from your own mistakes and being able to execute them. And it was just, when there's darkness, play to the light. And the one play I saw him, it was he saw the light, but didn't fill the gap fast enough. And the guy went right there, dove, missed a tackle. Literally 2 plays later, same scenario, almost the exact same play to it, accelerated through. You don't know where he is, but you know that there's only one way the guy could go, and it went right to him, and he stuffed him in the hole. That's what you want to see from young guys developing. And it's great. And I love the fact that we're talking about starters, but as we know, in a 16-game run now that it is, you have to have depth. You have to have depth. And our guys have to be able to rotate at all positions, not necessarily quarterback, but at all positions. So it's good. These are all good things that we're discussing right now.
They are. They're very good things.
If they're good enough to earn it and play, and you thought that guy was good enough, that means the coaches are doing so. That means they're developing them the right way.
Well, that's the thing with Mylan Graham, too. I mean, he's had opportunities because there's been some other guys they're trying to take it easy on. And when he's been out there, he's performed. I watch him. He gets open. They throw the ball to him. He catches it. Go ahead.
He's earned the trust of his coach and quarterback to make those plays when called upon. And I can't stress this enough. Same conversation, Bob, you and I have with young kids. Every practice is an opportunity to show your value. And when called upon, how do you respond? And obviously he's responded in the right way, because now he has the trust of his teammates to be literally one of the alphas.
There we go. Schlegs, I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer, bckr.com. Premium Buckeye gear for premium Buckeye fans. The wind, the rain, the cold. They've got it all with all of the features that you want to see. I've got the products at my house. They're tremendous. Haven't had to wear anything this summer because it's been pretty nice other than the rain jacket. The hats are tremendous as well. All the features you're looking for. Their elevated gear, their price is going to reflect that, but it's going to look good, and more importantly, or just as importantly, you're going to feel good as well. So BCKR, that's backer.com. Go check them out online. And they have some other teams. If you do want to maybe dabble in that, unfortunately, maybe if you have a friend, they've got all the Buckeye gear you want. Use promo code all caps BOBBY, Bobby, at checkout for free expedited shipping. Again, that's Backer, BCKR.com. We got our headlines coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Smart home automation has never looked so good. When you visit the Pure AV Design Center, you'll be immersed in the epitome of sophistication and state-of-the-art home automation technology. Flawless design, exquisite materials, unparalleled craftsmanship. You deserve nothing less than the pinnacle of perfection. Discover what you've been missing at Pure AV on Killian Road in Akron or online at pureavcorp.com.
All right, Shakes, we've got some headlines here, and one of the headlines.
Can I make a mistake? Can I clarify a mistake I made? Correct it. So I said normally we were talking about the Iron Buckeye and how significant and Lincoln Knowles was the first time quarterback, right, to ever win the award. And I said there was probably 6 guys, and I was inaccurate. Lincoln, JJ, Carnell, Austin, KJ, Sonny, Peyton, Jalen. And again, I talked to you guys all that goes into it, but it was 3 skill, 3 big skill, 2 power. But it's also, and we're talking about Lincoln, but Carnell Tate being one of those guys. And we talked to JJ, we talked about Lincoln, but Carnell Tate being one of those guys, Bob, that means a lot, especially all the trials and tribulation that he had in his life. We already talked about Austin.
From his mother last year, just him being skinny, like, and him working and grinding, like, had a big game back at home against Northwestern, with all his family in there at Wrigley. Like, it was awesome. Like, I'm really happy for Carnell and the leaps that he's made as a dude.
Yes.
And speaking of that, we got him up. The Buckeyes put together some of the favorite memories from the championship run. And this is great because you hear these guys talk about it, the things that are important. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
There he is.
Guy Carnell Tate.
Confetti, and then the 3rd down catch from Jeremiah.
3rd and 11 catch in national championship game.
Pretty much just celebrating it with the older guys, guys like JT, Tyleek, Ty Hamilton, and Jack. We've been through so much through the years that we've been together here, and it was just a unreal moment. Just finally winning the big one here.
Probably celebrate with my teammates after the game in the hotel. It was just a surreal experience.
That's a long one. I'm gonna just probably say my dad, the most important person.
Coolest person? Too many, yeah. There's a lot.
My mom. Well, she was there. She didn't text me, but just being in contact with somebody after the game, my mom.
That's a tough one. Nick Saban, I guess. Yeah, Nick Saban.
He was on my kitchen counter in the middle, so like as soon as you walk in the door, you see it. But now it's in my closet put up.
It's on my table in my living room.
Yeah,
it's in my closet right now. It's still in the the little case or whatever, but it's in my closet.
My parents got it right now, so they keep all that. I just play football.
Yeah, exactly.
All that Schlegs, I just play football. And the best part, you hear the favorite memories, all the guys talking about sharing and enjoying that time together. That's what I really like to hear. Like that's the memory of confetti falling. You're with your guys, like your teammates. The fact that Carnell's favorite memory is in the game isn't of him doing anything. It's of his teammate being able to have success. Like, and then where are your rings? Like, dude, in drawers and boxes. Like, none of them are wearing them. They don't wear them around the facility. And it's awesome that ability to Bob Seger style turn the page, I think, is very critical in life, especially for young people, to be able to say, hey, we can talk about it, but we're not going to live in it. We need to go make our own memories and our new stuff now.
Yeah, and that's what Ryan said was probably one of the most impressive things about this leadership as he brought them in, was the fact that they didn't want the 2024 all over the place with them. It was, no, we got to go. We're a new team. We are the 2025 team, and we got to go be able to do that. And that's kind of probably where Ryan came up with, we're not the defending national champions. We are the attacking national champions, right? It's like we are moving forward. They can't ever take that away from you. And again, once it's done, like I got 2 of them. They're in my gun safe, along with my gold pants, which are awesome, right? But that's where they reside. Like we don't go to charity events and rock them. They already know. If you know, you know. And then the thing that we like to share is the memories, the moments that led up to that. You know what I'm saying?
The stories are always the best part, Schlegs. That's a critical moment of it. It still does irk me that you have 2 national championship rings and I only have 1.
5 gold pants.
That stinks. You have more of those than me too. I want to tell you, Schlegs, our headlines are brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing. Looking to scale your marketing? Let Lake Spur Marketing, their team, help you do that. They're a trusted marketing agency. They have a broad range of experience, regardless of industry. They can help you out. Lake Spur Marketing prides themselves on building partnerships. They're confident they'll deliver the results you're looking for, but more importantly, it's about the relationship they're going to help build with the clients. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. Visit lakespurmarketing.com today. We've got our tailgate talk coming up here next. And we've got some little nuggets. I wrote down some questions, one from yesterday and some other comments that'll be rolling today here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Create it, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Refine your golf swing effortlessly right from the comfort of your home with Pure AV. There's no tee time required. Pure AV's full swing golf simulators capture your every move with precision, while realistic graphics and immersive environments bring the thrill of the greens indoors. Perfect for practice, play with friends, or hosting upscale events. Discover the flawless blend of sport and luxury. Book your consultation today at pureavcorp.com.
All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show, and we've got our tailgate talk where we talk about the questions that you want answered. And we go back, we got our chat, we'll go to the comments section occasionally. A lot of stuff when we were breaking out about the spring game, Schlegs. A lot of people watched that episode, wanted to hear about the quarterback situation, what it's there. Sarchuzzi said, I want a guy who can push the ball down the field, open things up for the run game, sprinkle Keenholz in on 3rd and short and goal line situations. And that leads to another question we had yesterday in the chat that we didn't get a chance to get to, is bring up Sean Payton and Drew Brees versus Taysom Hill, as you call Payson Hill.
Yeah.
And could they use those guys like that?
He was in a game. He was in a movie, Sean Payton, called Home Team or something, wasn't he? He was coaching the Warriors of Argyle.
Yeah, I think so. That was his year off. That was his year off that he was. Yeah,
Love that.
Coaching.
Love that. What about Payson? What about him?
Taysom Hill.
Oh yeah.
Could they use him like Lincoln? Could they use Lincoln Keenholz like him? I would never rule it out.
Yeah.
Let's just say that, like, with how Lincoln's able to run and some of the stuff you see, like in the runs that he has, like, I think you could see that. And he's got a live arm, dude. Lincoln can sling the ball down the field.
Yeah, he can.
He's got a gun, so he would give you a lot. I don't know. You've seen it happen in college. In the NFL, it's brutal. You've seen it happen in college. It's still tough, though. You go back to Cardell and JT. I go back to Stanley Jackson and Joe Germain. Like, it doesn't usually work. Now, you can have it situationally, but then how do you just choose what to deploy it? Maybe you bring them in there on 3rd down just to run it, 3rd and short, or in the goal line.
And they all know. And they all
know. It's like, then you bring him in, then you throw it, and you're like, well, he wasn't warm. Maybe he doesn't throw it quite as well as he should on a play action. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's really hard to figure that stuff out with everything. Like,
Not a big fan.
I don't see that ultimately happening.
Not a big fan. Not a big fan. I mean, we talked about it even with Justin and Troy that first year because of the suspension, but it's the same because you're going to allow somebody to do what they do best, and then you bring that in. Texas last year even did it with Quinn Ewers when he was healthy and bringing Arch in because he couldn't run, right? But just to give him some experience. But the only difference is, like, hey, we might have to play a spy on this, and we don't have a rat player. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Bob, like you defensively, it kind of cuts down the playbook. Now, the difference is if they're very, very similar and you can still execute the entire same playbook, but you just want more of that dynamic to where you have to get somebody out of the pass coverage, then that might be a why. But you and I have both seen Julian run for first downs. It's not like the kid is slow by any stretch of the imagination.
He can move.
He can scoot. He can move too. He's just
well enough.
He's not as big. No, he's not as muscular as Lincoln. He weighs 208 and Lincoln weighs 214. Like, we're talking 6 pounds.
Oh yeah,
6 pounds of muscle.
Here's two that I want to get to, Schlegs. And there's maybe another one. These two are kind of combined. Said this is the Monday show coming off the weekend at the 21:58. A very interesting take. That was when I was talking about Julian being more of a curated quarterback growing up in it, where Lincoln played 3 sports. So I'm just throwing this out there as a hypothetical. What if Day thinks he could get what we could get out of Lincoln over Julian? Lincoln has not been coached up like Julian. Maybe Lincoln has more potential than Julian because he has more room to grow. I don't care. Since Day has been a coach, we never had started the season with bad quarterback play, so I'm not worried, which I do like that. And And here's another one said Lincoln not only played in South Dakota, but wasn't even in the highest league. His team was in the second division from the top. People always talk about Julian's upside. What about Lincoln's upside? The RPO is a big weapon if done well. Who is better in that? And I mean, these are all real questions. This is all
That's good. That was actually a very good analysis question by you guys out there.
Here's another one said, seeking a yog. If players are close, I will always take the dog. ... The alpha league likes, and that's there's it.
I would add this too, there, Bob. The best looking, probably highest ceiling athletic build that you want that translates to the NFL is probably St. Clair. I mean, he's 6'4". He's just a freshman. He's not like he was playing in Bell Fountain, Ohio. You know what I mean? So you want to talk about like disparity of leagues too, right? Like, but he has the attributes. It's just not his time because these guys are more polished, have been in the system. He just got there. But as you want to talk about stuff, they'd be like, well, let's throw him out there. But honestly, I'll say this, guys, everything that you just mentioned are all the things that Ryan Day had to take into consideration. And what do you hope as a coach is that it is just undeniable, objective data proof that this is the guy. And as of right now, the guys are doing what they're supposed to do and make it as tight as it possibly can. And then whoever you go with will be the best one.
This comes from Jimmy Schleg's great show. I think you guys need your own studio. You're way better when you're together during hopefully you do that every show. Makes it a lot different, way better. We're going to try to do that at least once during the season, get some location stuff, get some folks out there to be able to hang out and enjoy with us. Working on that right now. So there's going to be some opportunities for that. And then here's one, Schlegs. It was funny. It was asking also by Seeking Anog. Did Mickey get offered a job with Urban when Urban went to the Jags? If he did and Mickey stayed, speaks volumes about Ryan. I don't know if, and you would have more insight into this, I don't know if Urban formally ever asked Mick, knowing that he probably wouldn't go at that point, or did he ask him? But he wanted Ryan to succeed. You probably have more insight than me.
I never talk about my insights on those things. I would say this: when Urban left and he retained Mickey because I guarantee you that Ryan had other relationships with other guys.
Yeah.
But it's Mickey's pulse of the team and his team development, along with what he produces through the offseason, right? Which is exactly what Ryan wanted, and he is the perfect fit. He's been there. I think this is going on his 13th year. Hard to find those guys that have that type of tenure as a collegiate strength coach or professional strength coach, but he is one of the best to do it. And I've always said this, like my favorite characteristic of Mick Marotti is the fact that he knows how to build teams and put young people in situations to maximize their potential, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Like that's what he does. That's his secret sauce. And I thoroughly enjoyed working for him. I learned a tremendous amount. This whole performance aspect that Urban wanted when we went to the Jags, which we implemented, right, was great. That's why I went down there. But Mick is phenomenal at what he does. So it speaks testament. It's a testament to Ryan to seeing that was the guy that he kept at the beginning.
Absolutely. All right, Schlaze, we're long for it. You got 30 seconds to wrap the show with your parting thoughts coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Who doesn't love having everything at their fingertips? With Pure AV's smart home automation, you can seamlessly manage your home's audio, video, lighting, security, and more, all with a simple touch. Create a sanctuary that embodies your unique style and personalized features that bring comfort to every moment. Sit back, relax, and let Pure AV bring convenience and control to your home. Visit us at pureavcorp.com today.
All right, Schleiks, you got 30 seconds here to wrap up the show. No, you're not going to the crazy stats from the AP poll.
I can't do that. I like that one.
That's,
that was a good one.
Schleiks, that's way too much for 30 seconds.
No, it wasn't. Here's the only stat. The only stat was this. And I'm just going to say it. The only stat was over the past 2 years, the number 2 ranked team won it. And my thing was, guess what? Not going to happen in the third year because the Buckeyes are number 3 and they're just going to win it from 3. That's all I wanted to say. Stats don't matter. Polls don't matter. Buckeyes.
There's a lot more to that. There's some other good stuff we'll get in there.
There is.
AP's poll. Appreciate that, Schleiks. We'll dive into some more of that here tomorrow. Until then, stay locked in here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Smart home automation has never looked so good. When you visit the Pure AV Design Center, you'll be immersed in the epitome of sophistication and state-of-the-art home automation technology. Flawless design, exquisite materials, unparalleled craftsmanship. You deserve nothing less than the pinnacle of perfection. Discover what you've been missing at Pure AV on Killian Road in Akron or online at pureavcorp.com.